Welcome back, Troglodytes, to your daily dose of guitar information, the Trogly's Guitar Show. The early 90s was such a beautiful time period for Gibson Firebirds. We've seen quite a few custom exotic colors showing up, but this one from 1991 is on a whole different level. Let's take a look at it. Can you believe this is a factory original finish? Apparently it is. So, instead of an exotic color, we now have an exotic design on it. This is supposed to look like snakeskin. Now, I'm not sure what snake it's trying to emulate, and I'm sure if I knew that, I would appreciate it even more. But I wanted to share this one just because of how exotic it is. Like, I've actually seen snakeskin covered guitars before, like this old Flying V in a Rock or Not episode. But this one apparently is not actually real snakeskin. It is painted on, which I can only imagine how long that would have taken to do. But here we can see the regular Firebird attributes here, like two mini humbuckers that are gold plated, as well as an ABR1 bridge and a stop bar tailpiece. We get two independent volumes with two tones, with the output jack on the front. What would have been really cool with this pickguard design is if they would have designed it after like the underside of a snake, or do that on the back side of the guitar. That would be really cool, like on the neck. But you got a lot of earthy green tones to this one. Not necessarily my favorite color scheme in the world, but a unique design nonetheless. And this is what makes it so unique. Now, unfortunately, they didn't do like the underside of the belly like I was just hoping for, but they did do the entire guitar. Like sometimes they'll cut short if they do something really exotic. It's just the top. But this one, it goes all out, and that's what gives it my seal of approval. And it's a full-on neck-through body construction. It's traditional in that sense. But the biggest kicker for me that made me fall in love with this thing is the headstock. They even gave it the matching headstock. That is big. If they would have skimped on that, I would have hated this guitar. So even though I'm not in love with the way that this thing looks, I'm in love with how they designed it. It is perfectly awesome. And they even have the old banjo style tuners. And what's this? A custom shop edition decal. So that means this is not necessarily a one-off. There could be a different one that exists, because edition just meant it was a limited edition of some sort. And our serial number dates this one to 1991, so that matches up with what the seller's saying. And you can see it's got some finish checking going on, pretty much up and down this entire guitar. Sometimes that just happens. Normally with metallic finishes, I'm not sure if there's a metallic sheen to this or not. It almost looks like it might. So maybe the photos only tell half of the story of what this actually looks like. Now, if this was like $5,000 or $6,000, I probably would have considered picking it up for a full review and demo. Because man, it's starting to actually look pretty good at this angle. But what is it listed at? $8,999. Now, do I think that's fair? You know, to the right snakeskin loving guy? Yeah, I can see it selling. Because what's great about this is there's a famous guy behind this one. Tom Murphy, and they have like a certificate of authenticity, I guess you could say, a letter telling its story. So back in late 1993, when Tom Murphy was still part of the custom shop, they've got this letter that says they made a bunch of one-of-a-kind instruments for the Texas Arlington Guitar Show. So going back to the custom shop edition decal, why does this not have a custom shop original decal? It's probably because it was part of a group of guitars. This very well might be a one-off, there's not another one produced. But it was part of a collection that they were displaying. Obviously, if you go to a guitar show, you want to show off the best that you can do, and that letter says it's a simulated snakeskin finish. So I'd be interested in learning how Murphy did that. Now that he's back with Gibson, maybe one day he'll tell us and we'll do some more. Because I'm sure animal lovers wouldn't want real snakeskin on the guitar. But the other reason why I wanted to share this listing is not just because of this instrument. It's this photo. This guy's collection is awesome. Clearly, the Snakeskin Firebird is the crown jewel of his collection, but he's got a couple of cool ones here. He's got the pink burgundy mist Firebird one there. Looks like he's got a little bit of wear on the arm. Maybe that was a custom shop job. He's got the frost blue, the Inverness green. Even has a Gibson Moderne back there, a red Firebird, two different red Firebirds. That one's a bit more bright. He basically went through every single custom finish that he could get, including the gold one right there, and the Guitar of the Week series, or Guitar of the Month, I forget, that has the flame maple wings on it. I'm surprised he doesn't have the zebra wood version. But check out this white one. It's got P90 pickups. I don't think I've ever seen a proper Firebird fitted out with P90s like that. You know, this style. Obviously, I've seen the non-reverse. But it's so strange to see that cream one with the cream soap bar pickups. But this one has me really curious. That one has like this neon green finish. The entire headstock has been taken over with that, so it stands out. Looks like it might even have an ebony fretboard, and everything's been blacked out. It's got the red Firebird on it. I'd be real keen on knowing the history behind that one. It would not surprise me if that's another like early 90s one-off custom job. But what a fantastic collection of Firebirds. I wanted to share that. And now I suddenly want some brick steps that I can set up pictures like this. It's so hard to take photos of multiple guitars, and he nailed that. That looks great. So hey, if you're in the market for a custom Firebird, yeah, $9,000 to the right guy. I think it will sell. And a lot of that has to do with this Tom Murphy signed letter. Because if it didn't have that, I think there could be some questions on if that's original or not. But hey, while surfing on eBay, at the same time I found this monstrosity. Somebody saying it's a Gibson Les Paul type guitar project. Seems legit to me. It's so terrible. It's probably like a court guitar or some other lawsuit era type thing. This does not appear to be a high quality instrument, but somebody tried to make it look like the real deal. But what's fantastic about this is somebody has routed it for 3 humbuckers, but they have a single coil in the middle position that they've just, housed within that. But get this, somebody took the time to route this thing for a Kahler at one point in time. That's impressive that somebody took the time to, put one of those things in here. So is it worth anything as a project? I really doubt it, but it is kind of one of those cool maple fretboard versions with the black mother of pearl type material for the inlays. One of these days I need to get a maple fretboard custom on the show. I've just been really picky with looking for the right one. But when they removed the Kahler, this just made me laugh. They took a Sharpie and tried to hide it. Oh, I love the inventiveness. Whatever you can do to make it less apparent. Then the back side of this, you can tell it's a bolt-on neck, multi-pieced, lighter colored body. Kind of strange when the top is a black color. You can tell it's got some sort of a scarf joint. This was not a high-leveled instrument to begin with. That's definitely for sure. But I guess technically you could just put some pickups in here. You might have to fit some new tailpiece studs and whatnot. You don't technically have to fill the Kahler if you don't want to. But for $250 firm plus $30 shipping, I don't see that one selling anytime soon. Another one we can check out today is a 61 reissue SG Les Paul Antigua Crazy Burst, as the seller originally called it. Okay, so I really like Antigua from Fender. I see what they're going for here. Like the Antiguas are normally a little bit yellowed out towards the center, and then they got kind of like a brown outline. I wouldn't quite call this Antigua, but if I had to call it something, I guess that might come up, or just like yellowed Silverburst, I guess. Definitely do not see this one every day, especially one that's still called the Les Paul yet. But they even went as far as giving the back of the headstock the burst, as well as the back of the neck and the back of the body. And when I first saw this, I was like, yeah, that'd make for an interesting review. But as with most of Gibson's metallic finishes, they always get finish checking at some point in time. And this one is no exception. But if you are interested, it has been relisted on Reverb by the guy who purchased it. He's currently asking $5,400. Speaking of custom colors, why? I've had so many people send me this thing. I actually found it organically, and then it's like, let's just take a look. Okay, so at one point in time, you guys have to remember, Silverburst was a very undesirable finish. But then people like Adam Jones picked them up and made them mythical folklore machines of music. But I can only guess somebody got one of these for dirt cheap back in like the 90s, and they're like, hey, what if I get rid of this ugly finish and do an Art Deco style on it? I don't even know how they did this. They must have taped it off and did like a paint thinner and just removed sections of the finish. Because you can see down to the bare maple. This just hurts looking at. But you've got the Art Deco style. You got a little bit of purple and lime green, a mixture in between. Must have been early 90s or something, but it's just so sad looking. I can only imagine if the original owner of this guitar just saw what these things were worth today in original condition, they would probably be kicking themselves. But what makes this even worse is, you know, the headstock's okay. It looks like we might have some replaced tuners that are gold. More on that in a little bit. But the back, they just took all the finish off. Okay, then. And they did the same thing with the neck, but they were at least gracious enough to leave some of the original finish back here. So we can see one replaced tuner. It looks like a second one with nickel. And I think these are just so old that they've kind of turned gold. But that one just has a replaced tip. That's very confusing because you got 4 flip out windings and 2 that are regular. But this, it still has the original finish on it. So as a restoration project, you at least have the face of the headstock. You're okay there. The body, it's toast. You're going to have to refinish the whole thing. There's no way around that. Because to match the burst job here would be too difficult. I mean, you might be able to get away with the black in this area and right here. And maybe there, you might be able to fudge that. But making this part look good, next to impossible. The back of the guitar, I guess you got a clean slate. You're okay there. And the back of the neck, I guess you could fake a new Silverburst here, try to match it to that one, and you'd be all right. I mean, it's still got the original Tim Shaw PAFs in it, so that's worth quite a bit. You've got the original style Gibson case. Looks like even the pots are original, potentially even untouched. How much does he want? $4,500. Now, if you're going to ask me how much this is worth, I don't think it gets the Silverburst Premium anymore because you can't call that Silverburst. So that puts it back into regular Les Paul custom territory in project format. I think being generous, I think it's worth $2,500 to $2,800. I think the 45 is reaching. I mean, I guess there could be somebody crazy enough out there to love this, but I don't see it for 4.5. But we'll have to see what the market decides it's worth. Alright, troglodytes, I hope you enjoyed checking out these cool guitars with me today. Don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe, and we will catch you tomorrow on the next episode. Take care.